or do we just kind of talk?
Oh, I love that, Tia. Thank you for giving me so much credit. Tia just let me in with all the other actors. I was like, oh man, do we have a? So I will be your host. I love that I just got added to the list of actors, but that's awesome. I wish I was in Slime. That'd be great. I'll erase the Merchant of Cool Things and put the host. There we go. Welcome everybody to the Slime panel. How was everyone's hangouts this morning?
Oh, they were good.
Yeah.
What do you think, Nazeeh? Is that the first time you've done hangout things?
Yeah, it actually is. I've only recently started becoming involved in like the panel world and whatnot, but that was like my first time having like one-on-one interactions. And everyone's just fantastic. I mean, it's surreal is what it is.
Good. It's very cool. Tia, how was your morning?
Oh, it's been wonderful.
Yay.
I had so many visits.
That's awesome. Brittney, the internet is still talking about your fudge capades.
I was going to ask
that was
about
nice.
fudge. I promised Kyle I would ask Kyle.
Yes, it came out good. I didn't let it soften all the way when I got it out, so it was a little bit more like a mush, but it was really good.
Like hit with a spoon. It's like fudge pudding.
Yeah, or sorry, I didn't let it harden all the way. You're supposed to let it harden more.
Okay, so the internet has to know, how did you get the top of your fudge so smooth? Like your picture, we were all like, is that photoshopped? Like yours is like,
I just poured it in there.
really?
Well, he said he used the wooden spoon to even it out, but I started doing that and I was like, oh, that's not working. It's like sticking to it. So it just was like, I shook it.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
So you just like, okay. All right, Kyle, you now have the answer to how on earth Brittney's fudge looked that way. She
I
just
would like to
just shook
formally request that the next time Brittney comes to Dallas that she brings me some fudge.
Fudge, yes. Okay.
That
Do you want me to put nuts in it or no? That's the only question.
No, just normal fudge.
No.
wow.
All right, I'm gonna make a request now, and I'd like some nuts in mine, please.
Okay, I'll just bring a bunch of fudge, different kinds.
Nuts, half of it with no nuts. That would be great. We're not asking a lot here.
Just 2 different kinds of fudge.
Actually, they need to be in different pans. So.
Oh man, I feel like I almost want to dry ice. Does fudge need a certain, I don't know anything about fudge. Somebody help me. Does fudge need a certain temperature to be like okay? Like I can't ship fried chicken without putting it in dry ice. I know that. But can I ship fudge, or does it need to be temperature controlled?
I wonder.
Because Nazeeh, there's a whole pan of fudge with nuts and caramel out there that if you need some Kyle Collins fudge, I can pack some fudge
Then
out.
I will make Kyle Collins send you some fudge.
All right. So here's what we do. You send it, and I will accept it in any form that it comes.
All right.
Doesn't matter if it's melted. It's all going down the same place. All right. Like I'm picky.
She's like in a fetal position on the floor, crying,
just drinking fudge with a straw.
And then on Twitter, his last comment ever is like, it was all worth it. Okay, Kyle, you heard it straight from Nazeeh's mouth. He's getting your secret fudge. He had to get permission to share the recipe, and I was like, Kyle, are you aware? Like, this is live on Twitch. Is this allowed? Like, we had to sign NDA. It was crazy. Crazy. So
I love fudge. It's so bad for me, but I love it so much. So like, I use it as the excuse. I'm like, blood sugar's low. Better eat.
Better get some.
It was really heavenly.
There was like one scene where like Autumn goes 2 ounces. How much is 2 ounces of marshmallow? She's like, just takes the whole canister and goes. And I was like,
I put in like 7.
Yeah, she put the whole canister in, Brittney. I was like, oh my god.
I mean, man, if you're gonna go, you might as well go hard.
Cooking is like, so there's some things you can be like when a recipe's like, oh, 2 garlic cloves, I'm like, yeah, okay. And I'm like, pouring half a thing of garlic in there. I'm like, dude, please.
What are you, a vampire?
2 garlic, whoever uses.
My kids made me lunch last week for Mother's Day, which really means that I stood in there the whole time and taught them how to make everything. So it's not as relaxing as you might think. They're like, so they wanted to make me this thing I sometimes make, which is like a Japanese kind of style breakfast, which is like rice with a fried egg on top of it. And so they're like, we want to do that. How much water do we add to the rice? And I was like, oh, you add double whatever rice you have. So if you, as like a cup will be enough, add 2 cups or a little bit less of water. They were like, okay. So like, fast forward in time to they're like, the rice isn't ready yet. I'm like, the rice cooker flipped up. It's ready. It's a really simple process. And they're like, it's still very watery. I said, well, how much water did you put in? And they're like, we don't know. We didn't measure it. I'm like, no!
Oh, no!
There's like one rule to rice. There's one rule. That's it. You just 2 parts to 1 part. There's like it's just
I was like rice isn't like boiling water for pasta. You can't just be like, whatever.
just eyeball it.
You can use your finger. You can stick it in like until here. I'm not even kidding. You can. Second
I
knuckle.
don't want my kids to put their finger in.
You're gonna steam it. You're gonna steam it. You just, with clean hands, and you put it in from like your finger, like to the top of the rice to the second knuckle, so that no matter how much rice it's right.
No, I would rather they just use a measuring cup.
What'd you say, Tia?
I said that's the same rule for watering plants. Don't water your plants until your second knuckle's dry.
Like plants is like, all right, I don't mind sticking my finger into like my plants.
Just don't do one and then the other.
Yeah, I don't trust that my kids like actually wash their hands before we started cooking. I don't have that level of trust with them.
That's true. I mean, you're gonna steam it. I feel like anything gets it's pretty hot in there.
And then I don't trust that I'm not gonna find like a booger or something.
A booger.
Oh
Look,
wow.
I'll take images that I did not need in my head for 500, please.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I felt that texture. Like,
I'm never gonna look at rice the same way. I'll be like, who cooked the rice?
Just saying,
boogie rice.
Rather they use a measuring.
If it's fried rice, Tia, you'll never see it. You'll never even know. It'll look
it's like the
same.
FDA, like it allows like so many boogers per amount of
It
rice.
does.
No.
It literally, there's an allowance.
5 boogers per container of rice. So
Not for me. My rice is then not
A non-booger.
booger-free rice there. Okay, that's
You should make a brand called Booger Free Rice. I bet you could totally
rice
sell that.
you can trust.
Yes, and that'll
I promise
be the
you, my
slogan.
rice has no boogers in
That'll
it.
be the
The
slogan.
whole world, like, I don't.
I love it. I love
Wait,
it.
wait, hold on. So, do the other ones have boogers?
Right?
Totally.
So before when they're boogers were.
I can't guarantee it, Z. I can't guarantee that they don't, but I know
See?
mine doesn't.
Oh, I'm sending this to Eric right now. I need a Booger Free Rice T-shirt. Need a Booger Free Rice
Make sure you
T-shirt.
write rice you can trust
Yep.
underneath it.
T-shirt. Okay. All right. I'm gonna send that to Eric. We started doing Kristen, you'll probably appreciate this. So whenever there's so I guess I'll officially tell everybody the rules because we have 2 first-timers here. We don't take any questions during the first panel. We ask people to grab a hangout with you, buy an autograph, get a personalized message, and then all those people are eligible for VIP. And then so we take questions during the VIP panel. And then during the free panel, like we just all get to hang out, which is pretty obvious that we went hard into hanging out. So thank you, everybody. Welcome to everybody. Because Imran, that's what we do during the free panels. We talk about like farting and boogers and stuff like that so that we can catch up and hang out because we don't often get to see each other. So we'll there will be some slime. Have no fear. I got caught up and had to cry a little bit. I texted Brittney after I got caught up and I was like, Brittney, what happened to my beautiful little slime who got so sad and so angry?
He's all grown up.
He did. The other.
So much fun.
It was that. Did you read ahead to come into that, Brittney, or did you like step into the booth and then like as it's coming up on the screen, did you like pause and like turn around and be like, oh, I guess you're recording from home. So what was your like? Did you know it was coming? Like, how prepared were you for? I guess the scene in the courtyard. When
I was not prepared. And I had known it was coming as far as like conversations that Kristen and I had. So like there was times when like we had like kind of touched on it. Like Kristen's the slimeclopedia.
Oh,
I'm trying to combine those words, but it's not working out.
I like that.
Store useful information in my brain, or I can have slime facts, but I can't have both.
Can't have both.
I feel like you have like all of the facts. Like if
There's
I ever needed to know something,
slime.
I'm like, this is the brain to pick about slime because you have all the answers, or at least 99% of them. But yeah, so like she had told me a little bit about it, so we had like kind of touched on it. I knew something was going to happen, but. I don't know if like I wasn't prepared for the total devastation and like loss of self that Rimuru experienced. And though they had experienced loss, obviously with Shizu. But it was the kind of loss that Shizu had been suffering for a really long time. And Shizu was getting a release from that suffering. And so though it was really sad, it was also like you could breathe a sigh of relief. She wasn't going to feel the pain anymore, like in that way. But with Shion and all the other monsters, it was like forever. And that they hadn't gotten to like prepare or say goodbye. And like how Cliff had mentioned that Kristen, Cliff had said something about how you had told him like what happens to them after they go. But like you can.
So Cliff explained it. So Cliff explained it to me, and it was. This sounds terrible, but it's not something I thought about. But when monsters die in this world, they don't like just
regenerate.
Have a body. Well, they don't have a body. Their body turns to magicules and disappears. So if a monster dies and you're friends with that monster, you can't bury that monster. If Shuna were to die, like Shuna wouldn't have a body. She would just disintegrate. And so that's something Cliff explained. I totally kind of spaced on it because I have so much knowledge in my head that it's hard for me to focus on those things, like, because I'm so micro-focused on, like, flaps and writing and things like that. So, which is why there's a director. But, yeah, he explained that, and I was like, oh, man, that makes it even more sad. Like, it was already sad, but that does make it more sad.
I will say, not knowing what's going to happen, Cliff is really, really good about shepherding people into the scene, making it comfortable. And I don't know, he knows the show, he knows the actor, he knows what's coming. I don't know. It's like you don't even have to do the research because a really good director will prepare you as it comes.
I love that image that you just made of the shepherd, like Cliff as shepherd. I think that's a really beautiful way to put like what the job of the director is.
Thank you. I often talk about it with Clifford. It's like a dance. Not all directors are the same, but with Cliff, it's like a dance where he lets you take your character and put your spin on it, but he'll pull you back if you go too far out of bounds. You still can explore emotionally.
Yeah.
There's never any fear that you're not going to have the best possible product at the end of it.
Yes. That's why I was so thankful to work on him on Darling in the Franxx, because I know the love and appreciation he puts into shows. So it's always an honor.
Yeah. There's Cliff is a director that there's just like a complete and utter faith in it. Like if Cliff tells you to do something, there's a reason why. And I think over the years, he's built up that trust with a lot of actors of just like, he knows what he's doing. If he's telling you something, it's because it's going to sound great at the end of it.
Yes. Yeah, he definitely creates a comfortable space where you can feel like okay and exploring. And like, there's even a point during the episode Hope where like, he was like, are you okay? Because I was honestly crying. I don't know. Like I had just been like, it was so sad. Yeah. I was overwhelmed with it. Like just even in that moment, just for that second, experiencing that hollowness, like what I had to bring up in myself in order to achieve it. But he let me get, like he helped me get there.
I honestly, if Rimuru had died in that fight, versus whoever that was, there you go, the chick from the church. I legitimately was prepared to see Rimuru, because I had heard the rumors, like, there was a lot of talk from manga readers at the end of season 1, like, oh, it's gonna get so dark, this is so dark. And then I was like, well, I mean, it's called That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. Maybe Rimuru dies. Like, I was prepared for whatever was gonna happen. Did you have faith that battle was gonna end with you still alive, Brittney?
I had no idea what was going to happen. So it totally flipped everything on its back. Yeah. But I would think yes, because, I mean, or at least if Rimuru had died, I felt like Rimuru would have died in that battle before with Hinata, because Hinata was so much more powerful, I felt like. So I felt like even with that, like that Rimuru had won that battle with such a powerful, like, there was no way Rimuru was going to win that. It was just wits. Yeah. So I felt like since that happened, I just knew that there was going to be some way to pull it out. But
I couldn't believe that it was Ranga, right? That was like, I'm pretty sure you completely won that battle. And I was like, did you guys watch the same thing?
Yeah, were we watching the same thing? Because I think she kicked my butt.
Yeah. Oh man, I love it so much. Okay, I need some origin stories, because Nazeeh and Tia, you are first timers, and so I have never gotten to ask you where you came from and how you came to be where you're on everyone's screen for slime. So Nazeeh, like, what has your journey been like? Where did you come from? I heard you're a Miami boy, so
I'm a Miami boy. 305 till I die. That's how it works.
Okay, so how did you get from Pitbull to Dallas?
All right. So number 1, you may leave the Pitbull, but the Pitbull never leaves you.
Yeah.
Just go ahead and say that. Dale.
I love Pitbull. I love Pitbull so much. All right.
But yeah, no, I mean, I born and raised in Miami, went to University of Florida, where I was pursuing an engineering degree.
How did your parents let you do that? Are they not hurricanes?
No, I mean, that's the beauty of foreign parents that aren't very well acclimated to any sort of like regional, you have to go to school here. Yeah. They're just like, oh yeah, no, you just make sure you get a degree, please.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
But,
all right.
Of course, started with engineering. I don't recall this, but apparently I was the most miserable I was ever in my life at that point.
Oh wow.
Nazeeh.
I ended up taking an acting for non-majors course, which ended up like resulting in me being like, oh, theater's pretty cool. I kind of want to do this.
You can smile again,
right? Yeah, it's like I noticed. I would reading a play for homework was not like actually homework. It was just like, oh, this is enjoyable. I like this. But fast forwarding that, I ended up getting my degree, got my BFA in theater acting. Moved to Atlanta, Georgia, where like immediately after to pursue like camera acting.
Okay.
And within like just a 4-month time span, I ended up through like various connections, ended up finding myself moving to Dallas, where I had a lead on a couple of voiceover things, one of them being with Funimation. And there was a little bit of radio silence in the beginning, but then shortly after, I started building connections, taking classes. The connections that got me there to begin with helped nurture me a little more. And now here I am being nurtured by these lovely folks.
I love that you said classes. I feel like ever since I kind of learned Kristen's origin story that, we, as you all do, get asked all the time how to be an actor. We get asked all the time. They're like, 100 actors. How do you do it? And if I think that someone isn't serious, I tell them to go get a theater degree. That's like the first thing out of my mouth is you must have a college degree in theater. And then if they don't blink, then I'm like, okay, go take classes. It's less dramatic than getting a theater degree, and you can actually do that like right now. And so I'm glad that you put in another plug for classes.
That's Tia, the thing, right?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, sorry. Very briefly, it's just like. At the end of the day, acting is a craft. And, while many people may, such as my peers next to me, may make it look very effortless and easy, there was a level of study and just nurturing that had to occur in order to make it seem so. Yep. And you don't get that without the training, without the classes, without just some sort of nurturing to go in.
Look, nobody would ever hire a plumber that didn't know how to make your drain go down. Nobody would hire an electrician in which you would be afraid that they would electrocute. Like, but for some reason with acting, everybody thinks that they can do that thing. But that's
Fiverr's fault. That's because everyone's like, oh.
It's whose fault?
Fiverr. You know, where they're like, oh, you can make so much money from home if you just have a microphone.
Right.
Wait, who said that?
Fiverr.
Oh, literally the person's like screen name or nickname is Fiverr?
No, it's a website called Fiverr where you can get things really, really cheap.
Oh, so they're just trying to push merch, and you're saying that they created this fake. How much is a Neumann? Can I get like a Neumann for half off?
No, it's like services. It's like $5 to get a business card made or something. It's basically a really terrible way to take advantage of people trying to make money.
Ouch. Okay. Ouch. Okay. So you're saying Fiverr convinced a bunch of people to sign up?
Fiverr. It's the internet. There's a ton of articles on the internet that's like make all this money from home with just a microphone. And then there's a picture of a really pretty girl touching her microphone, and you're like, no.
I can be that girl. That's me.
The microphone's like right there on her face.
It's me. I can do that.
She's cupping it, and you're like, why are you cupping it? Like, it's not a baby.
Oh man, I love it. All right, Tia.
Also, because art is so subjective, like when you can draw, people are like, I can't draw, or I am learning. With acting, you can't see a thing. So some people don't have the ear to know, like, oh, am I doing this appropriately? You know, I don't know. It's one of those art forms that's just kind of like floating in the air.
Well, I don't even know what U.S. senator said it. I need to find so I can properly quote it. But right, it's like pornography. You'll know it when you see it. Right, someone in Congress was famously asked, because they were trying to define what was appropriate and what's not, and what can go on, what can be shown on television and what can't. And they're like, well, it's like pornography. You'll know it when you see it. I feel like acting, although it may have an element of subjectivity, I think we all can go to a film or a play or a musical performance, and we know to it with a certain degree, right? With a degree of certainty, like that person did a great job or that person did not do a great job. Like you can feel. So Tia, tell me,
feel it.
What is your origin story, Tia? Where did you come from before you had a room full of plants and creepy dolls?
Well, I was born with a room.
Oh, you're okay.
But I came from a little town called Paris, Texas, in the middle of nowhere, Texas. I graduated high school with 20 people.
Whoa.
And everybody was either a farmer or a teacher, which is fine. But I always loved cartoons. And when my sister was into Backstreet Boys, I was into VeggieTales.
Yes.
So, it was just always just a big nerd in that way. When I went to college, I started off as an art major because I wanted to be creative but not talk to anybody. I was very shy. So I just draw little naked people in cartoons all the time. That's what you do as an art major, not because I'm just sitting around drawing naked people. So in the middle of all that, I decide to go. My friend pretty much drags me to a con. I've never known what this is. I've never heard just like, what? I'm into cartoons, but what is this? And when I got there, I saw this thing called a wall scroll. And I didn't know what a wall scroll was. And there is a character on this wall scroll, and it's so lame, but as soon as I saw her, I was like, I'm in love with her. She's me. Like, it was Triella from Gunslinger Girl. It was a Gunslinger Girl poster. And Triella, this character, had the softest, most motherly face in this wall scroll, and I'd never seen anything like it. So I bought the wall scroll and I bought the show and I watched it and I was like, oh, that's what this is. That's what all those people were doing. Okay, we'll put that aside. I go to work for Disney World for 6 months in the college program. And that's where I got to see people doing, it was the first one.
Right here?
One. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She's in the middle. But I thought she had the most beautiful face. So while I was at Disney World, I got to see a lot of people doing exactly what they wanted to do with their lives. Like if you liked Goofy, you just walk around with a Goofy backpack. It doesn't matter. Nobody cares. So I was like, I think I want to be in cartoons. Yeah, I love it. I love cartoons. And there's this wall scroll you see. And so long story short, after Disney, I became a theater major so I could learn how to act. So I am one of the ones who went to school. I also became a speech and communications major, so I would shyness and learn to talk to people. And one thing led to another. Long story short, I ended up at a session at Funimation where they were recording Gunslinger Girl 2.
What?
Just like begging to see it. So I got to meet Caitlin Glass, who played Triella, and it was just like this movie.
Oh, very cool.
And they just happened to be having auditions around the same time. And I auditioned for Monica, and she hooked me up. She was so kind. She wrote everyone. I think she just wanted somebody to take some of the high-pitch roles from her. She was overwhelmed. And I kind of slid right in effortlessly, and it's been 11 years. And yeah, couldn't be happier. I don't know what I would be doing if I wasn't in cartoons. And I say cartoons because I'm in all kinds of stuff, not just anime.
Right.
But it's just, I don't know. It's my heart song.
That is awesome. I'm trying to find, is there...
Such a beautiful way to describe it. Like, it's so romantic.
Oh. You know.
Okay. Who did you end up in Gunslinger Girl? Which role did you land for Gunslinger?
I didn't land a role in Gunslinger.
Oh, you didn't?
I watched her session record, and then I auditioned for something else.
Okay.
So, yeah, and I don't know if I would have been asked to be in Gunslinger Girl, I think I would have
died
on the spot. Like I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Now, if there was a third season and they were like, "You want to be in it?" I don't know. I just.
The show that you really are attached to, because we had that with Magical Girl Raising Project, which is like my all-time favorite show.
Okay.
And we had it, and I was supposed to co-direct it with Sunny, and I was supposed to write it, and we watched it. We're like, the show's so good. Like, I loved it. I describe Magical Girl Raising Project as Sailor Moon meets the Hunger Games.
Oh, wow.
But I don't know, like I couldn't look away. Like I was so entranced by it, and so I binge watched it, and we cast it, and we submitted the cast for approval, and then they're like, "Oops, we lost it," and I was devastated. I mourned it. And I knew that Sunny had cast me in it, and so I mourned the role, I mourned the show, I mourned writing it, and then I took the full-time writing job, and a year later. It showed up on our to write list of if any of these shows speak to you, let us know. And I all but kicked down the door to the and I was like, I have to write this show. I said, I have to write it. I was like, I know everything about it. And they were like, okay.
Quiz me right now. Ask me a question.
They were like, okay, because no one else is Magical Girl Raising Project is special to me, but I don't think it was special to anybody else. But I was like, it has to be me, and they were like, all right, no one's gonna fight you for it.
They're like, it was already yours. Chill out.
So you've sold us. And then Jade did auditions for it, and so I auditioned for it, and it was really hard because I knew I was supposed to play a specific character, and I decided not to audition for that character because I wanted to do something different. And so I auditioned for a bunch of characters, but the one I really wanted is the one I got, which was Tama, who is a sweet, sweet little dog girl. But she's higher pitched, and I don't normally play higher pitched characters. But it's auditions, so you can prove that you can do that stuff. And I got cast, and I cried.
Yay!
Like I don't know.
That's so awesome.
And Tia was in that show too. She was the most
definitely falling in love with the show definitely does not always work out in your favor.
There are many that it has not, but that is my favorite success love story.
Oh my gosh, so good.
Why can I not find the cast for Magical Girl Raising Project?
Because nobody loves it like I do. I just told you.
So simply because of that, you just it doesn't exist? Oh, all right. Well, there's that. I've heard of it. Was it not well received?
It's just, there are popular shows that are like really popular that everybody knows, and then there are shows.
And then there's Magical Girl Raising Project.
And babes.
Right. Well, that's our homework, chat. Everybody in chat, our homework is to watch Magical Girl Raising Project.
You can watch the dub on Crunchyroll.
Oh, the dub is on Crunchyroll?
Yes, it was a Crunchyroll Funimation.
That was the first time. Like when they were dating before their parents arranged a marriage after they broke up. Well, because didn't Sony take a second swipe at it, and now Sony owns both Funimation and Crunchyroll? Am I losing? Somebody could just call me straight up if I'm losing my mind, but I swear that Crunchyroll just got bought by.
I think.
Who owns?
I don't know if you're correct, but we don't see any special Sony Sony bought a cool thing money, so it's hard
to. Tia's like, bitches, where is my Sony merch?
I'm just saying,
where's my Crunchyroll hoodie?
I keep up with that stuff because it changes all the time and it doesn't really affect us.
Yeah, and we don't get told about it. We're just actors.
Okay, so you actors. It's the Sony Corporation owns both Funimation and Crunchyroll now. So they were dating. And the reason I know is because we're on the licensing side, and so we were trying to get some licenses for some things that were held jointly, and they're like, yeah, no problem. But then they broke up, and they're like, it's a problem now. And then later Sony purchased Crunchyroll after their acquisition. After they digested the acquisition of Funimation, they went out and bought Crunchyroll. So I'm gonna make that my goal, Tia. I'm gonna get you like a Crunchyroll hoodie and just tell you it's from Sony. It'll be like from Santa, like under the tree at Christmas time, when your parents would lie to you and tell you that Santa gave you something. I'd be like, Tia, I just ran into the CEO of Sony down the hall, and he gave you this Crunchyroll hoodie. Yeah, as a thank you.
So I would wear it.
Okay, fantastic. Do you like orange as a color? Not everybody loves orange as a.
I like most things that are rejected. So if somebody likes orange, I will wear it.
Then orange is I'm a lover of bright colors, but I feel like, so we create merchandise for Chris Waycamp every Wednesday. He has like a Twitch stream. And so that's where this whole story started from, Kristen, is that Eric, the artist that did the coloring for your Animated Me event, he comes on and he's like the Tonight Show band. But instead of a band with Twitch streamers, there's an artist on stream. And so it's like, it becomes part of the shtick, part of the act. And so we create things on the fly, just like a Tonight Show band leader would like riff off a joke and just like create a song. And then they play for a few minutes and then be done. So we create art on the fly every Wednesday. And everybody is like, is it available on black? Can I get that on a black shirt? And then I sent Chris his own merch, but I made him take colors. I didn't send him like stuff on black. So I'll have to find the picture of him in a lavender glitter beard shirt. It is the most gorgeous thing I've ever beheld.
I respect the people that stream so much. I've had people ask me if I would like stream my art, and I'm like, I don't want anybody watching me draw.
You guys don't look.
Don't look at me.
A
lot of work. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, it is
a lot of work.
Yes, and you really I feel somebody who streams more can tell me, but I feel like you have to know the tech, like the way, like when they play Quiplash, there's like a Discord server, and then the audio is coming in through Discord, but it's being piped onto onto Twitch, which is being run out of like Streamlabs. Like, it seems to me as a non-tech person that like that's a lot. Like at Color World, we use Google Meet. We use Google Meet because you click one button and then everyone that needs to be there is there. So I don't even use Zoom because Zoom opens up like a whole nother window. And I'm like, nope, too much tech. We're not using Zoom, you guys.
Anytime I stream with, like, anytime someone's like, do you want to stream with us? I'm like, sure. And like, I'm over here having fun, but they're always like, thanks for the sub, blah, blah, blah. If we get to this many subs, I'm like, that's too much to keep up with. I can't do that. I have too much slime knowledge to worry about.
No, you can't keep that info because it's being reserved for more slimes.
For more slime knowledge.
The Slimepedia. Brittney, we're plotting your Twitch channel over here, Brittney.
What? Oh.
Well, because look, there was
I
the whole fudge thing, and that went over so well. Like the internet is still buzzing about. And then there was the pasta from scratch thing.
I destroyed that pasta. You should have seen how terrible it was. Oh my. Oh, I felt bad. Like I couldn't do anything with it. I was like, is there anything you could do with pasta that doesn't make right? And they're like, no. I'm like, I can't make it into like dumplings or something. I have to waste this. It was terrible.
Jeff's like, no, you're stuck with your failure, Brittney.
I messed up from the first second.
Did
you
you
make
really?
a volcano with the flour, but mine, the hole went all the way down and it's not supposed to. And then I put the egg in and then it busted through the side. And I was like, and he's just going to the next step. And I'm like, no, what do I do? There's like egg all over my hands. Terrible.
That's amazing.
Nazeeh, are you a good cook?
No. So I'm not a bad cook. I'm just not a cook. It's like if you give me meat, I'll season it. I'll be able to like do the stuff and get it prepped and make like a good steak and a burger and all that stuff. But my knowledge does not go beyond like the basics. So I'm not going to be able to sit here and give you the like bacon wrapped jalapeno, cheddar bomb, things like that. I can't do anything crazy or cool. Also, my girlfriend and I, we're just like busy so often to a point where our lives just revolve around either fast food or not even just fast food, but like we'll order out from restaurants. Not that that's really better, but it feels better than just downing McDonald's. But we've also been in getting Freshlies. So
what is that?
Those are like pre-made healthier meals.
Yep.
There's the stuff like Green Chef and like Blue Apron where they'll send you the ingredients and you cook it.
You're like, no.
We tried but like we just I know it sounds like I'm making an excuse, but by the time we both get home and are like done with our days, it's like I don't want to sit in the kitchen for an hour.
It's
like
real work.
I just want to
real work.
Let me take
a quick recipe for chicken parmigiana that you cook in 30 minutes.
All right. Okay. Look. I'm just saying it's hard to beat a 3-minute and 30-second microwave.
It is hard.
Pop in.
It is hard.
30 minutes. 30 minutes. 30 minutes. You're starting to talk. We're starting to dance. We're starting to dance.
Tia, do you do kitchen stuff, Tia? Are you do you wander into the kitchen and make magic happen?
I do, especially since the pandemic.
Okay, tell us. What are you cooking these days?
Well, I'm cooking pretty healthy, but my favorite little spoily thing is lamb. I really developed because it's a thing not many people like. So I wanted
Tia.
What?
Lamb is my favorite. I'm coming over.
Come on over.
Yeah. All right, there's one dinner that's done.
All right.
I also want to come over.
Come on.
So it's a party.
I'll bring stuffed mushrooms. Do you guys like mushrooms?
Oh, yes.
Ooh, mushrooms.
Yes.
I can make 2 different types of stuffed mushrooms. I can make copycat Olive Garden stuffed mushrooms, which you can no longer get at Olive Garden. So they're
okay.
So get it from Kristen or don't get it.
With feta cheese and zucchini in them.
Look, I'm gonna tell everyone here 2 things that I do not like. That's the only dietary. It's not even a dietary restriction. I just really hate them. Okra and lima beans.
Okra.
Oh, lima beans.
Make those. So you're saying.
So look. Okay,
What about okra pickles?
Yeah, Brittany's gonna fight you on okra.
So here's the thing. You got to understand when my mom is a phenomenal cook, and I've had, whenever I visited the Middle East in the past, it's always been like, oh yeah, okra. There's like a very specific like okra dish that everyone makes.
Right.
But the problem for me is that it's slimy.
Oh.
it's like the slimy and not satisfying. And I'm like,
I'm not a fan of slimy food. I have to concur with you on this. My mom used to make like canned vegetables growing up, and I thought I hated vegetables. Turns out I just hate canned vegetables. I love steamed veggies.
Oh, you like steamed?
Yeah, like I love, like I like my veggies to have like a little bit of crunch or roasted. Like I love roasted like carrots and potatoes.
And you don't saute at all? You're not a stovetop person?
I just don't like canned veggies because they're like
they're gross,
mushy.
They're disgusting. I don't understand how canned vegetables exist as a product. I literally don't.
The only one I feel like is really like that is similar to its frozen counterpart is corn. Like regular corn, not cream corn, like regular corn.
Corn's great. I don't know that it holds any nutritional value for humans because it looks the same when it comes out as it did when it went in, which tells me there's not a whole lot of digestion in between. But I will eat it. And you can salt it. It's pretty easy as far as foods go. A little butter, a little salt. It's good. All right, Brittney, how's your
baby corns? What about like canned? So I get canned like baby corn or like water chestnuts or bamboo shoots because I don't have a place I can get those fresh.
Yes. Yes, but those are. What is a water chestnut? Is it a nut or is it something else? And what is bamboo?
I don't know. You think I would know since I eat so many of them.
To them, right? Like they look like little tiny potatoes. Like
little white, crunchy, like
Brittney, you're gonna hate me, Brittney. I'm really sorry. I also don't like water chestnuts.
What?
No,
okay.
So let me go ahead and but let me tell you, with the okra, if you give me a dish, I will try it. Like it's not like I'm not a definitive. I will absolutely never eat okra. It's just my experiences have not been great. Water chestnuts, though, the texture. So I am at least consistent in my opinion, where it's like water chestnuts and like celery, for instance. Something about those textures where it's a very weird, like watery, crispy that just doesn't sit well with my
by itself. You eat celery dipped in like peanut butter or ranch.
Yeah, you have to do ants on a log.
Egg salad.
Ants on a log, bro. Yeah.
Sure. I'm just saying I'm at least consistent. They're like very similar texturally speaking, and I don't.
Do you eat apples? Because I feel like apple is a wet crispy.
Right. You would think that I wouldn't like apples, but apples are also sweet. And
what about pears? Because pears
go either way.
I feel like the pears that I've had have generally been on the softer side, actually. Not like, unpear like that is.
Crispy pears are awesome, Tia. Are you a crispy pear person, Tia?
I'm not a pear person at all.
Oh, really? Not even with like fancy cheese?
No, not pear flavoring, pear anything. I can't. I don't know why. It's just never been a pear person.
All right, Brittney, tell me about your garden. I'm pretty sure I've seen a picture or two on Instagram, and I know you're growing stuff. So what is in your garden?
I don't know what I'm doing though. I feel like
that's a lie.
Tia's like super great. I don't actually know what I'm doing. But I'm putting things in the ground, and that's happening.
And they're growing, and you're eating them, so it's working.
Yes, except for the birds have gotten more than me. Food? Yes, I have grown food. I have grown some food. But the birds get most of the tomatoes and blueberries before I get them. It's really frustrating because like you go out there and they're half green and then half like blueberry colored. And then you're like, okay, I can almost pick this. And you come out like an hour later and they've only gotten those blueberries. Not like a ton. There's like a bunch on the branch. They only get just those. Aren't they colorblind? How do they know?
Those bastards.
They could probably smell. They probably smell right.
Oh
yeah, but I don't know, man. And so like I have to pick them before they're ripe if I want them, and then like hopefully if they get ripe enough, then I can eat them. But I've got the sugar snap peas I had to pull and the celery because they've gotten a little too woody. But I've got Malabar spinach and kale and Swiss chard and pole beans and okra and a million herbs and tomatoes.
Man, I'm so impressed. I tried to grow cucumbers and I can't get them past like a certain stage before something eats them. I've lost like 10 cucumber plants.
No, I had the same thing with cucumbers. I had no luck with cucumbers and with like squash because I got squash borers. and I would like go on the plant, try to pick off all the little eggs, but like I'd always miss one. And they're gross. They're like grubs, and they live in the stem, and they like eat their way up, and then like you only find them from like their poop. It's super gross, you guys.
I went out there the other day to check on my cucumber plant that had made it the furthest. I was so hopeful for it, and there was a slug just hanging off the leaf, going to town, eating my cucumbers, and now it's
I'm outing you, Brittney. I'm completely outing you.
You can see like how I'm not fertilizing correctly on a lot of that stuff. It's like I'm trying.
Look at all that stuff that's grown by your green thumb. I don't buy for a second that you don't know what's going on. I don't even
better than me.
What are we looking at? What are all those plants?
So the bottom on the left is thyme. Above that on the left is lemon balm, and then pineapple sage, and then mint. I think that's spearmint, oregano, parsley, chives, and then that's holy basil and Thai basil. And then there's cilantro over there by the tomato plant, kind of bolting. And then we've got the green beans are all the ones that look a little bit yellow. Because at that time they look a little bit more green now, but I don't think I was putting enough nitrogen or something. I don't know, something I did wrong. And then there's Swiss chard and kale, and in the middle, in the bags that look all tacky, because I didn't have enough room, is Ichabod eggplant, a Better Boy tomato, and an Anaheim pepper. And then the other one has the spinach going up in the on the trellis, and the blueberries. And then there's what are those, chili pie peppers, and celery, which I ended up pulling back there, and some sage and dill.
We are gonna launch your cooking show, Twitch. Like, it's a done deal. We're gonna have to. Like, that's amazing.
Thank you.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so with our remaining time, we're gonna turn our attention. Kristen, at what point did you know when you're writing slime? Iav outed me this morning with Tia, and he's like, "Dad, you're only watching slime because I told you to," which is true. He watched it before I did. He knew Brittney was the lead. He's like was watching it, and I was like, "What is this thing that you're watching?" And then it has such a distinct feel for season 1. Like, it's all inclusive. It's very anti-racism. It's very the world can be a better place. It's very we can all work together. At what point from that feeling of slime did you know that we were going to go down the road that we're on now?
I mean, it's going to sound kind of like a cop-out, but I guess I knew that point when I read it in the light novel. I mean, slime was a show that seemed really fun when I started it, and of course, like, I started reading the light novels and the manga because the anime is actually an adaptation of both, and so there are things that are mentioned in the light novel that aren't ever mentioned in the anime, and so I don't know. I have to know both. I have both the light novel and the manga when I write. It's crazy. My desk is covered in books. And so I'll read the manga part of the scene, and then I'll go and I'll read the light novel part of the scene, and then I'm like, all right, now I have all the information I need to write the scene. Which maybe is overkill, but I want it to be accurate. But I didn't at any point be like, oh man, slime's gonna get dark. I just was reading and I'm like, oh, slime is dark now. And I kind of knew from reading the Wikipedia and stuff on it, because it's like when this person dies, he becomes a demon lord. And I'm like, oh, okay. I guess that's the thing that's going to happen. So I just try to keep ahead of the game enough to kind of let the director know, hey, this is going to happen, or this character is going to be around all the time. So, just so you know, this character is important. This character dies right away. Just because when you're a director, sometimes you cast someone thinking that this character is really important. So you're like, I'm going to cast this amazing actor on it, and then they die the next episode.
You're like,
and then you can't use that actor anymore. And you're like, oh, man. And so I would just kind of give the director a heads up, hey, this character be around all the time. Like when Grucius showed up, that whole Grucius and Sophia and Albus, I was like, hey, these are the ones that stay, and these are the ones that are around, but they leave. And this is why they're important to the story and stuff like that. And
So are you aware? Are you read up, caught up, aware of, have consumed everything that is available for slime? Like, do you know as much as
manga that's out? I have not read the light novels are further along.
Okay.
So I haven't read them yet because sometimes reading too far ahead, I get my timelines confused.
Yep.
And so then I'm like, this thing happens. No, wait, it doesn't. Not right now. Sorry, just kidding. My bad. Ignore me. And so I've stopped trying to read quite as far ahead, just so that I can focus on where I'm at. If you're too focused on the future, you miss the present, Brad.
I love that you wax poetic. If I give you half a second, you are every bit the writer that you. Brittney, when you auditioned for Rimuru, did you just see a visual of the slime and you went in there? Like what? Because there's a lot of Brittney in Rimuru, but then there's a lot of Rimuru in like. How did you decide where to put Rimuru? What was your audition like? Did you threaten everyone else that auditioned for Rimuru? Like what?
I did not audition for Rimuru.
Really? They just
threaten everybody, just FYI.
But I did threaten everyone like the minute. No, I'm just no.
I'm a good slime, bitch.
No. But we did when we did the first scene, like play around a lot with the voice because I was tending to go like more nasal than Cliff wanted Rimuru, and like it was like trying to reel in that helium sound.
Yeah,
50% less helium.
50 now with less helium. I love it. This morning Ia was like, Dad, Rimuru is a guy, and I was like, but it's meant to be androgynous. He's like, yes, but the character who died and then was reincarnated as Rimuru was a boy, and retains all of his memories. And I was like, okay, encyclopedia guy, I get it. But in my head, they're so synonymous with Brittney and Rimuru that I attribute Rimuru a lot of you. So it's so neat to watch you work, and I love the two of you together, Kristen and Brittney. I think it's a lot of fun to see you write for Brittney, and then you know what I mean. Like there's a lot of
it's the whole team, man. It's the writing, it's the directing, it's the engineering, and it's also the experience. Like it's been such a wonderful experience. There's a reason that I love slime so much, because I enjoy every single time I get to voice Rimuru so deeply, and I'm really grateful because there's so many good memories, so much fun. But having a good team is really what makes the difference in the project. It really can make all of the difference. But yeah, I'm super grateful to be able to put a voice to Rimuru. And one of the things that I did know immediately off the bat about Rimuru is that Rimuru was genderless. That was one of the very first things, was that like, we're not trying to go too feminine. We're not trying to go too masculine. We're going to we want this to be a slime. And so,
I think it's in fact, Harriet, who's gonna do the VIP panel with us, she's gonna be the moderator essentially, is a huge slime fan. One of the greatest collections of slime I've ever seen in my life. A lot of people that are out there in the internet land know Harriet for her love of slime. And I think what's spectacular is that's what drew Harriet to the character, was the androgynous nature of like, what is Rimuru? And I love that Rimuru changes form so much. There's that episode where Tia, your character, and Michelle Ruff's character, they're like dressing Rimuru, and they're like, no, I want to see you in this. I want to see you in this. And they have that little mini fashion show. And I just love that everything fits. There's no like these things were rejected because they were too much of this gender, and these, you know what I mean? Like it was just like, this is ridiculous. I don't want to wear this, but it had nothing to do with. So it's neat. I think so many people really appreciate that nuance of Rimuru of without a gender.
A lot of people ask about Rimuru's gender, and it's something we talked about once in a video. But Rimuru was a man, and he died, and he was reincarnated as a slime. The slimes are androgynous. They're neither male nor female. And when he and it explains this more thoroughly in the light novel, but when he takes the form, when he turns into a wolf or a bat or whatever, none of them have genders.
Yeah.
And they don't ever really talk about that in the anime, but like when he becomes a wolf, the wolf is neither male nor female either because he is a slime. And so I think while he very much still thinks like his past life,
right. Yep.
You know, but his body is truly androgynous. And in the light novel, they talk a lot about how he's mistaken for a girl a lot. And that even his voice comes off as kind
girly.
of
Yeah.
And so when people are like, oh, but I think Rimuru sounds too much like a girl, I'm like, you should read the light novel.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I really think it's great. And I think that I really can't think of another title that is so helpful in the representation area towards those that identify as androgynous or are androgynous. I think it's neat. I think it's it makes Rimuru so reachable for so many people because you can see yourself in Rimuru. Tia, how did you come up with where you placed your character? There's it's at times it feels very 0-2, and then other times it's very happy. Like, how did you guys arrive at where register wise you would deliver?
Well, for me, since we didn't audition, coming in and just listening to where the Japanese was and letting Clifford guide me, she's warm, she's kind, she's gentle, and then just kind of pulling those qualities out in myself. Which I love characters like that. I'm drawn to characters that have leadership roles. So they're strong women, but they're also very vulnerable and gentle. So yeah, it was a lot of fun, and it is a lot of fun.
Yeah, I love seeing Shuna's growth this season. We've gotten a lot more Shuna this season.
Yeah, definitely added some dimensions out of nowhere. It felt like for me.
Yeah, I was really happy about that because I feel like she kind of got shafted in the first season. So I'm like, it's so nice to see Shuna like doing so much and being so cool.
Right? It's cool to see her do things rather than just fight over someone.
Yeah.
Or fight over attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that like the scene in the square, right, where you essentially are there for Rimuru. Like it's such a, I don't know, man. We were being prepared as that episode kind of went on, and everybody kept just like saying like, let's just stop talking. Like the more each of the characters said to stop talking, the worse I was prepared to witness. And but that was really there was a lot of emotion in that episode. I appreciate everybody going there. I honestly, Brittney, thought you were gonna like snap and go into a rage. Like it was interesting to see Rimuru like reel it back in immediately, because I feel like the man who died and was resurrected as Rimuru or reincarnated is only what, 20s, Kristen? What?
Yeah, I think he's late 20s, early 30s. I would have to look at. He says it in the first episode, but that was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I thought it was 30 something maybe, but I might be wrong.
I think he was in his 30s. He was a virgin. He's still
Yeah, because that was one of the things, was like 30, still a virgin, only have one friend. You know, that was the whole setup.
Hadn't gotten married.
Oh wait, what? Okay.
37. This person says
28.
37.
Okay.
It's 28. No, it's 37.
Okay.
32.
37 definitely, because there's a lot of restraint. Like Rimuru exercises quite a bit of restraint in that moment. It would have been really easy to snap and what was that? Oh, has everyone watched Falcon and Winter Soldier?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I'm not spoiling anything. When the new Captain America snaps, that's honestly what I thought we were about to see with Rimuru. You guys remember that scene with the shield in the
Yeah.
So to me, I thought that's what we were gonna see with Rimuru, and it took hella restraint to just simply stand there.
But I feel like they've always had that restraint, because even in almost all situations, I used to actually joke about this, which is kind of ironic now, but I said, the way that their life was so, or the way that his life was so unfruitful, especially in the way that he described it. It wasn't fruitful to him. Right. When he was reincarnated, I really thought, like, you know, I tried to be the good guy. Why don't I just come on and just immediately try to be a demon lord and conquer everything and like try that route? Yeah. Since the first route didn't work out so well. So like, you know, and I used to kind of joke about that, about how like if I was Rimuru, I'd be like, all right, well, I tried the good route. I'm gonna go terrible now. But Rimuru always practiced restraint. Yeah, but right, because Rimuru could have always just immediately gone on that path, and instead of creating like an all-inclusive place for all the creatures and creating this like wonderful, harmonious place to live, that was a choice. They made that choice, you know.
We haven't talked about Nazeeh's character yet, but Nazeeh plays one of my favorite new characters for this season, which is Grucius. Grucius is cool.
Tell us why.
He turns into a wolf. Like I really like Grucius. I really like Grucius because like he comes in and I just feel like he immediately just like settles into the village and he like he takes his like, even though he's a visitor, like he's very protective of the village. And I let Nazeeh talk about it. It's Nazeeh's character.
Well, yeah. I mean, the cool thing about Grucius is he, like you mentioned, he enters into the village and immediately establishes this camaraderie, especially as everybody already knows with like Yom, and then going after Muron, depending on what pronunciation you go with. But you know, there's this sense of like, while he is loyal to his original factions and whatnot, he does establish a sort of loyalty to those that are around him as well and whatnot. But yeah, no, I mean, it's just a smug and cocky character that also has a bit of humility. You know? That's the thing that I really love. It's like when he first gets his ass handed to him by Mulan coming in, and he's just like, "Yep, no, she beat me fair and square." That's it is what it is. It's like, wait, aren't you going to be patronizing?
I like her.
Yeah, it's like, aren't you going to patronize me for being a woman? It's like, nah, it's like, you kicked my ass. What are you talking about?
Yeah. It is it's neat. I just love that, like, that humility, the humility of victory. They're like, don't worry, you can have her for 50 years, bro. You're going to die. I got her for 100. Yes. I love that.
Kudos to Z, who has to put up with me texting him all the time.
Putting up with you would be if I had to actually like feel any sort of emotion other than joy when seeing a text. It is not putting up with. It's more like an embrace. It's like, oh shit, she texted. All right, what's happening now?
So many screenshots of like, look how awesome Grucius is!
On all levels except physical, I am Wolf.
That's awesome. I love it. Are you friends with Jonas Scott?
No, I've worked with him actually, but like nothing further than acquaintance, which I feel is like with half the people in this industry. It's like, I know of them. Yeah, had a couple maybe Twitter interactions, but
the wolf. Like as soon as you said on every level, but I'm like, that's all I can, because we manage Jonah's merch brand, and so we're constantly like talking about wolves, making wolves, doing more things with wolves. Like there's a lot of wolves going on at Color World. James, oh my gosh, James's last name slips my mind, but he works for a wolf rescue and develops so he develops low poly art for each of the wolves and tries to make each of the designs for the wolves reflect the personality of each. So we talk a lot about wolves on our end. So
wolves are my favorite like real animal. Like unicorns are my favorite mythological animal, but wolves are my favorite real animal. And when I was a kid, I had a very brief dream that I was going to be a wildlife photographer that lived among wolves and took their pictures and studied them. So like anytime a character has like wolf features or turns into a wolf or anything like that, I like get really stupidly excited. I'm like, wolf! Like I love wolves so much. I think they're fascinating.
That's awesome. James Clellan, thank you. I'm trying to find, if you really like wolves, I really want to Of course, I can't find it. It's account tunist because he's an accountant. He's done 3 out of his 4 exams necessary for to get a CPA license. But then, like, what he really loves, it's a lot like your story, Nazeeh. You know, you went to school to be an engineer, but you were just like super miserable, and all you really wanted to do was like dress up and go on stage.
Right.
Oh, I can't find it. That sucks. All right. I was gonna pimp. I at least can do his Twitter. All right, and then we'll say our goodbyes. As always happens on these freaking panels, we careen towards the end of it from the minute we start. So yeah, it's just nothing but wolf art and wolf design. Hey, there's Jonah. Yeah. So if you love wolves, if you like wolf as a creature, yeah, there's all the stuff that we've just lots of
when
wolf.
I was a teenager, my whole room was like decked out in wolf stuff.
With wolf stuff? Okay.
Yeah, like wolf blankets. I had a wolf fountain, like a table fountain.
Oh,
like,
wow.
Yeah, like
That's awesome.
Okay.
It was our teenager's room, but that was what my room was. It was like nothing but wolf posters and stuff.
Are you a big Beastars person?
No.
Interesting. Okay.
I liked
Okay.
Wolf's Rain. Like I loved Wolf's Rain. Like when that was
Oh, yes. It was funny. I remember after so many people talked to Johnny Young Bosch about Wolf's Rain, I was like, should we do a Wolf's Rain event? He's like, don't take this as like, this is just, I just happen to get the 5 people that loves Wolf's Rain. No one else cares. We should not do a Wolf's Rain event. So I was like, oh, all right. I'm just trying to. So thank you, everybody. It's a pleasure to get to know everybody. Nazeeh, Tia, Brittney, Kristen, thank you so much for coming by, you guys.
Yes, this was fun, y'all.
Thanks
I'll
for
see
having
you
me.
guys at the VIP panel.
Y'all soon.
Thank you so much, you guys.
Chat you guys at the meet and greet.
Bye, guys.